Doot doot doot, fixing a crack. Doot doot doot. Here we have a center console for a 1971 to 1973 Datsun 240Z with a manual transmission. It's been broken, and at some point somebody tried repairing it with glue. Don't know what kind of glue it is. It could be super glue. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. So we're gonna take this machinist scribe and try cleaning off as much of this old glue as we can. The reason why we want to clean it off is so that we can mate the two sides of the cracked console as close together as possible in an effort to minimize the amount of crack that's still going to be visible once the repairs have been completed. For the most part, this glue is actually coming off pretty nicely, but on the other side it's not coming off as easily as I was hoping. So I'm afraid to use chemicals on this because I don't know what kind of glue it is, and I don't know what the chemicals would do to the plastic. It's super old, it's 50-year-old plastic, so I think this will do it for now. We're just going to go ahead and clean up the inside so I'm not burning old glue from the 70s. And take our first shot at a plastic welding, I guess you'd call it, plastic repair. All right. So here's the kit that I picked up off of Amazon. I'll share the link in the description below. So this comes with 4 different types of plastics, plus some screen and a little anvil that you stick inside of your soldering gun. Looks pretty basic. So you got some, I think it's polyethylene. You got some ABS. Polypropylene. And PVC. Looks pretty rigid. But I think we're going to be using the black stuff today. And then you have this screen here, which is basically like the Band-Aid to go across the crack, from what I understand. I don't know, I've never done this before. But we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. So I'm going to cut a little bit of this screen here to the general shape and size of the area that we're going to be sticking it to. Trim off some whiskers there. You guys remember Radio Shack? Yeah, this is an old soldering iron that never really worked super well, and I figured I'm just going to go ahead and use it for this application. Now, this anvil doesn't fit inside of there. As you can figure, from China, one size fits all means that it doesn't fit anything at all. So we're going to have to cut some threads into this, and I just got to figure out how that's going to go down. Time to get the old tap and die set out. I'll also provide a link in the description below. Time to find out how many threads per inch this is. Looks like looks like 24 is good at work. If I can get my camera to focus, I can show you guys. Alright, come on, focus. Ah. So we're going to go ahead and seat our die inside of the old die handle here. Now, before anybody says anything, I know that this die handle could be used in 2 different ways, but we don't have the length of rod in order to use like the little alignment side of it. So we're just going to have to eyeball it, and it's not like this is a crucial function anyways. Now, I'm I'm just a regular guy. I don't have a lathe, so what we're going to do is set up our own little mini lathe here using this electric battery drill. Just like that. So using a standard file, I'm just going to reduce the outside diameter of this one-size-fits-all plastic welding anvil until it matches the outside diameter of the thread crowns on the soldering iron tip, and then we'll go ahead and cut some threads. So it looks like this is a 204 thousandths of an inch in diameter. We'll see if we got down to that size yet. Yeah, let's get it further up on the, there we go. So it's at 203 on the minimum, which is 1/1000th less than the soldering iron tip, but oh well, it's 1/1000th of an inch. Bink. Alright, and again, I don't have a lathe with a parting tool, so we're going to go ahead and put it back in our redneck lathe and use a, you guessed it, a hacksaw. Alright, seems close enough. See? Now let's get this chucked up in a vise, and we'll finish cutting that end off, and then we'll get to threading. Go ahead and deburr it with this file here, so we have a nice edge to start with. We'll see if we can get this to thread on straight. If it's not, it doesn't matter. It's getting screwed into a soldering iron from Radio Shack.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, I'm glad that part's over. So we do have to remove this handle, take the die out, and flip it around, because one side is starter threads, the other one is got more of a finishing threads edge to it. I'll show you. So you see it's tapered for starting threads. Yeah, right there. Got that nice little taper. And then the other side is finishing threads, so we're just going to flip it around and then chase the threads back down to make sure all the threads cut are fully developed threads. Not that it really matters, but might as well since we're here. Alright, thread it back on straight. And we're just going to chase it down. And that's it. Can't help but think that a lot of this is absolutely pointless because we are trying to make a Chinese plastic welding anvil into a Radio Shack soldering iron. But I guess if you're going to do anything, you might as well do it to the best of your ability. Unless you're filming, because I can't seem to get my camera to focus at all today. It's always good practice to put your tools away, make sure they're clean, so then you can find them next time. And that's it. A tidy workspace produces tidy work. Finally, we get to start doing some good old plastic welding, the whole purpose of this video. Got that screwed in, ready to go. Gotta test it out a little bit here. There we go. Get this plugged in. One of the best things about this Radio Shack soldering iron is that you have no idea if it's turned on or not. There is no indicator lights or anything. So fingers crossed, and don't touch it. Let's see how hot it is. So after a couple minutes, it's already at 283 degrees, 284. Then after a few more minutes, let's double check it. So my hands are shaky. You know, it's a race against time now because I drank a bunch of coffee. So we'll try to get this done before my jittery hands start becoming a safety issue. We go ahead and size up our little screen band-aid thing here. I figure this is all we're going to need just to repair this one crack. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and test it out in a little area here just to see if it actually melts the plastic. And it looks like it is. So I'm just going to put the Band-Aid on, and I'm going to start on one side, just try to get it attached to one side at a time. So I'm not trying to, you know, align the crack and get this heated in there all at the same time. So far it seems to be working pretty good. You know, it's molding the little mesh screen into the original plastic just fine. Now getting into this radius, like the inner diameter of this radius here, it would be better to have a different shaped anvil, but this is so far working out pretty good. And I'm just going to slowly start bringing in the other side, trying to keep it all aligned with my fingers. Again, this is my first time ever doing this, so, you know, I'm just guessing at this point. Let's add a little bit of plastic, you know, kind of backfill the underside of that crack. Probably don't need a lot. Okay, well, it's not looking too bad, and it already feels a lot more solid than it did before. I mean, I guess in my opinion, this definitely beats gluing it together. It's still noticeable, but not as much. And cleaning this off was pretty easy. Before it cooled off, I just hit it with a wire brush, and all the residual plastic came right off. Now, I do have one other console that's been broken in several places. If you guys want to see me attempt to repair this, then, you know, let me know in the comments. So here's my finished product. It's a little rough looking on the underside, but it's pretty rigid, pretty solid. Can't really tell too much, you know, that it was completely broken. Now, let's take a look at an installed console. So my hands are shaking really bad. The coffee got to me, and, you know, sorry for the video quality, but You know, it was a race against time, and I think we got a beat out before I got too shaky. So this is where the choke lever goes, and that's usually where it breaks. You see some holes where somebody tried reinforcing it at some point. But I'm going to be mounting it straight to the transmission tunnel when I take this console out. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have a pretty good shaped console in my own personal vehicle, and it has the ashtray and everything on it works really well. But I'll be taking this out eventually to install the choke cable. With that being said, I think this is it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe so I can continue making more videos in the future, and thanks for watching.